It's JP to the let's get it. I got a real busy day, so I'm going live early today. This live was requested. This live was requested, man. Let me go on here. I may even see. I'm gonna go tag my dog, man, so he know I'm doing this for him. Shout out to my guy Ty. Southwest is definitely in the building. I love Southwest. Let me go, man. Make sure. See if I can tag my dog on Facebook before I go. And ain't letting me tag him. I'll tag him I'll tag him once it's done so we know it's up. Last night I was chilling. I was doing some studying. I am preparing to go back to school to get my PhD. So I am getting all the way in study mode. Okay, so it is letting me tag him once I put in his last name. So that's straight. I tagged my dog on Facebook because he called me last night. He said, Jackpot, we waiting to hear what you got to say about certain stuff, man. You gotta go live and talk about this and that. And I said, Ty, I'm not talking about that stuff over and over again, man. He said, but we waiting on your opinion. So um I've decided to just make the different types of content that I like to make. Although I want to focus on different types of business content, I am a hip hop guy at heart. We got new music coming out. Me and Nep, we are actually sending out emails and text messages so we can see who want to premiere the new video. If you are a fan of good rap music, check out me and Nep. I got some music on my channel. He got some music on his channel, but we making real good music. And in my shoes video dropping soon. We just setting up the release. But I love hip hop. I love business, and I feel like there's no reason for me to um, neglect either one. So today, this particular conversation centers on. We gonna start with Gucci Mane. I ain't gonna be here long, y'all. But my guy asked for my opinion, and he said he wanted me to go live about it. This is my guy. My guy that set up a play for me, and I can't neglect my guys, man. So he want to see what I got to say, man. So I had to tag my guy, and it's a lot going on, and I feel like my opinion matters. So the first thing I want to discuss is Gucci Mane. I am not the biggest Gucci Mane fan. I'm gonna give y'all that right off the rip, and I'm gonna tell y'all why. So, about 20 so years ago, Gucci Mane, um, he some guys rushed his house, and Gucci Mane said, "I'm not going out like that." And he handled his business, which is respect. Somebody rush your house, you take care of your business, you protect your fortress. And they rushed his house, and he did what he was supposed to do. And the hip hop community gave him kudos for it. And 20 something years or whatever later, they did the verses. And while Jeezy was being respectable, grown man, as you see Jeezy trying to grow up, Jeezy doing orchestrated shows and suit and tie type of events. He wrote his book, and Gucci wrote a book too. But Gucci Mane, he can't let it go. So Gucci Mane jumped on the stage, and halfway through the show, he said, I'm gonna play this song, and you send somebody else at me, they getting sent back the same way. From the gate, Gucci Mane implicated Jeezy in a situation that didn't necessarily have to involve Jeezy. So if Jeezy said, "Y'all bring me his chain, I'm gonna give you 50,000 or 100,000, whatever," if he just said that on a radio show, or if certain people feel like they want to get his good graces, they want to be in his good graces, so they do something, and it led to the situation at hand, and it led to somebody losing their life. And I want to send my condolences to his family. And That's a part of being in the streets. You try to rush somebody home or you try to do something, carjack, rob somebody, it, you taking the chances. Now, I have stated on my podcast and live stream that certain situations call for you to have to defend yourself in the court of law or make a statement or to say something that could implicate somebody. Sometimes if you have to file a insurance claim, you have to say somebody broke in my home. Now if the police investigate and these idiots are online, bragging about your jewelry or something and that lead to them being arrested, that's not necessarily snitching. If you have to defend yourself, in the case that Gucci had a situation where he had to defend himself and defend his home, it's your life versus theirs. So if the police came and you said, well, a group of men broke into my home and I had to defend myself, that's not snitching. I had to defend myself. That's my defense. I had to defend myself. Some people can be mad at that situation, but me, I am very realistic in my expectations, and I feel like snitching is snitching. I'm not calling everything snitching. I've been notoriously famous for drawing a line of what snitching is. So, in that situation, I wouldn't have called Gucci a rat. Gucci Mane's not a rat for saying, hey, they broke in my home. I had to defend myself. He's dead, but it could have been me. I'm not going to jail. What am I supposed to say? Well, we were playing cards and I killed him. Like, what am I supposed to say? That's my defense. I'm not going to jail for killing somebody who broke into my home and put my life at risk. So that's not snitching. We gotta let that go. But when the man repeatedly, he like I'm talking about every chance he got, Gucci Mane repeatedly implicated Jeezy in this situation. And 20 plus years later, he did it again. That's something that we have to look at. That's something that we have to pay attention to. So when we hear this song, Snap is really a statement. When we hear his statement, we shouldn't be so surprised. He's shown us that he doesn't have the wherewithal to say this is not something for the record. Whether the record is video evidence of you talking during interviews or during a highly publicized versus battle. And a situation like that, even though it started off as a robbery, it ended up as a murder, right? That's a murder case. That's a homicide. There is no statute of limitations on a homicide. So you constantly implicating somebody in that can always mean they could bring a case up and say, "Hey, we've done some investigating. We found that you were the mastermind or whatever, and you can be charged with that." Why keep implicating somebody in that? So when he did the crash dummy joint, a lot of people acted like it was something to be surprised at. I wasn't. I'm very big on patterns. So when I look at something, I'm always finding the pattern. He has a pattern of making public statements, whether it's in song, whether it's in video, whether it's in interview, whether it's in versus battle. Gucci has continuously implicated people in crimes. And the whole Atlanta thing of the F the streets, yeah, that's cool when y'all starting to when y'all starting to look kind of crazy, right? When the one of the biggest hip hop moguls of the last 10 to 15 years has been shown to be a rat. I'm not talking about Gucci Mane. I'm talking about P. P is one of the biggest moguls in Atlanta, and he's been shown to be a rat. What I've seen on Rollo has not shown that Rollo is a rat. Nobody has said Rollo has told on them and got them time. So I'm not going to put Rollo in there, but some of the things that Gunna did was questionable. I don't feel like Initially I felt like that was ratting, but once I seen that everybody had to take the same plea, I don't think that Gunna ratted. Like they're picking at Gunna, but I don't feel like Gunna ratted. There were a lot of people taking that same plea, and basically the prosecutor knew that she had a weak case. So what she wanted to do is get everybody to say this script. And the script was some garbage. The script was some garbage, and the script was supposed to um it was supposed to make her case stronger, but it didn't. She had a BS case from the rip. And what Gunna did, it looked bad. That's what she wanted it to do. Basically, the prosecutor wanted to set the tone for this type of case because she had the idea that she was going to prosecute this garbage RICO case, and then she was going to do some more. She had plans to do the 4PF and whatever else she had doing. If you remember, halfway through the case, she was saying there'll be more indictments. But what happened was her case was so weak and trash that they wouldn't even give her the they wouldn't let her off the leash because she was doing garbage. And what she did was she tried to cement her case with these plea agreements that just said, yes, it was a game. Like that's not going to cement your case. It showed that you were half stupid because even though it looked bad publicly, them making these statements while they were taking the plea, they couldn't be used in this case. It was pointless. So people didn't understand that because publicly, and you see that there's cameras in there. There's cameras in the courtroom for a reason. She is making this case for she's just trying to um cement something, right? And it wasn't working, right? So now once that case fell apart, everything else with her fell apart. Like the comment. I'm gonna post this comment from Gangster Astrology. So this is my point. The Trump case, terrible. She tried to put this garbage case on Trump, saying that he was trying to rig the election, all of that, and I thought he was, but she fumbled it. She fumbled the case. She consistently fumbled cases, right? She consistently fumbled the cases. So when she tried to like do this umbrella RICO case and give everybody all of these pumped up and trumped up charges, and the case fell apart, it was like, nah, we not going back through that. You got to think of how much money a RICO case that big costs. You talking about millions of dollars, and she did all this grandstanding trying to make this case seem like it was more than what it was. Because a lot of these people want to be famous. A lot of these people are nitpicking at rappers and different people with some type of celebrity because they want their name in headlines and blogs and all of that. It's just the way that human nature is. People want to be somebody. They can't just go to their office and be great at what they do. They want to be seen. So prosecuting a case this big was her breakthrough case. Prosecuting Trump was her breakthrough case, and she dropped both of the cases back to back. But those guys going up there, right? Fannie Willis, that's what I'm talking about. Those guys going up there, and they're up there like, yes, I did such and such. I did this and that and that. I blah 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 blah. Yes, yes. YSL is a gang. That doesn't mean anything. You still have to make a case. You got 20 guys going up there saying the same script, and you think that's going to make your case, but you can't use that against Young Thug because that's a part of taking a plea. That can't be used, and you're going to call them back to testify on them. About what? About what? You don't even know how to make a case. If you don't understand RICO, RICO is one of the easiest cases to make. It's one of the hardest charges to beat. I just fought a case where I walked into somebody else's indictment. I was hustling pills for 4 or 5 years under the radar. I probably made millions of dollars in pills. I never never had a police problem, nothing. I've literally been hustling pills, staying under the radar, minding my business, doing whatever the hell I wanted to do with pills, and nobody knew the better. All people thought was I'm a rapper. It was cool. It was like, that's Jackpot the rapper, JP1. And nobody knew what I was doing. I wasn't loud on social media. I wasn't running around rapping about pills and taking trips and doing all this extra stuff. I was chilling. Everything was in my name. I paid my taxes. I ran my company, my production and promotion company, and I put out project after project. I'm claiming income. I'm doing everything that I'm supposed to do. But I walked into a federal indictment. And this federal indictment started off as a RICO indictment. My lawyer was I had a well-paid attorney, and my attorney was basically like, "Look, man, this gonna get ugly. All they have to prove, and these are his words exactly. All they have to prove is that you're a spoke in the wheel for this RICO to stick. That's all they have to prove. This is how he's explaining a RICO case to me. He's not telling me go cop out, but he's telling me all they have to prove is that you're a spoke in the wheel. His exact words, right? And shout out to Kevin Basant. Shout out to my guy Kevin Basant. And I caught him when he was literally like building his office, and he had a great reputation, and he definitely handled my case the best way I could have paid for it. But the case started off so crazy, and he was just like, all they gotta prove is you was spoken the will. So I wasn't necessarily worried about the Rico case at the time. I just had two kids. I had two kids back to back. Like literally the month before I was charged with the RICO, they had picked me up 2 months before, but they charged me in that October. So in that August, they literally picked me up on the 12th. That night, Lily went into labor and my daughter was born. The 13th, like 2 o'clock in the morning, my daughter was born. A RICO case is so hard to beat because they can just trump up charges on you. You could have somebody did something three people away, like you don't even got to know them, and charges can stick if they can prove that you had knowledge of it or you had anything to do with what was going on in this RICO case. The RICO charge is going to stick. RICO cases are very hard to beat. That's why they start throwing these RICO cases at these local gangs and different people like that. They just throwing these cases at them because they need little to no evidence. One of these dummies can go rob somebody. Now all of y'all fighting this RICO case, and one of y'all just rappers. Two of y'all, three of y'all could just be rappers. It's 10 of y'all on a case. Three of y'all just rap. You did nothing but put your homeboys in the video with you. This is how crazy a RICO case can get. And she dropped the ball. She dropped the ball. She was trying to trump up this case by having Gunna and Thug's brother and all these, the guys that really didn't do too much or nothing say, yes, YSL is a gang. And she gave these guys these unbelievable cops. The only problem that I seen with the cops is that it was 10 years of probation and all this type of stuff. But she gave these guys no time. In RICO cases, she gave these guys no time. It was a well publicized RICO case, and she gave these guys probation just to go up there and say, yes, YSL is a gang. Like, come on, you knew the case was weak. She knew the case was weak, but it exposed certain people. Woody, they wasn't surprised that Woody was cooperating the way he was. Woody a nutcase. He a loose cannon, right? Woody, you couldn't gauge Woody. No, you can't gauge Woody now. You don't know if Woody playing. You don't know if Woody gonna do something violent to somebody. You don't know. It's Woody. Nobody knows, right? So they wasn't surprised Woody cooperated, but some of the other people, they probably surprised them because you around guys, you know guys handle business a certain way, and you think guys ready for whatever. But when they start throwing out numbers and start threatening people with taking them away from their family, it don't even be just the family. It's mainly the girls. The guys don't want to lead on women. So they start telling on everybody and everything. Oh, I know who did this in 1998. Like, what are you talking about, guy? Nobody even asked you about that. So that's what happened, right? Now, Atlanta started to show signs of breaking down a few years ago, just breaking down, breaking down, breaking down. So now you got guys that want to say F the street because now you have to decide what side of the fence you on. And instead of you deciding, you want to say, oh man, we ain't worried about the streets. No, 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 no. Not so fast. Because this is what catapulted your career is people knowing that you handle business a certain way in the streets. So you can't just say F the streets now because you have to make certain decisions. They have to be made. If you believe in what you said you believe in, certain people shouldn't be allowed in your cipher. It doesn't matter where you are in your career. You don't have to kill anybody. You don't have to do anything violent, but you do have to decide what you stand for. So when you say F the streets and you start to lower the standard for what's a street guy, or what's real, or what's supposed to be acceptable, then you start to, no, 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 we're not going to do that. What we are going to do is say, we are of a certain age or a certain experience that I know the streets is all smoke and mirrors, but that doesn't mean I have to lower my guard or lower my standards to deal with people that have shown weaknesses and act like they didn't. I don't have to forgive people for doing certain things. Nah, I don't have to kill you or want you dead. I don't have to even give you any type of attention. But I don't have to lower my standards as a human being, as a man, to say that, okay, you told on somebody 10 years ago, but it's okay. I don't have to do that. So I don't have to say F the streets for me to say I don't stand for that. And the reason I don't stand for that is because it shows that you have a weak personality and it shows that you only care about yourself. And you showing that and you having that characteristic can cost me dearly and anybody around you. It doesn't have to be streets. In this situation, I have an MBA. I don't have to worry about what's going on in the streets. I don't care. I don't care who's selling what, who buying what, who moving what, who smoking what, who popping what, who drinking what. I don't care. I honestly don't care. But if your character is at question because you ratted on somebody, then I do care because now I have to look at your personality. And I have to say, you are a very selfish person. You only care about you because you took somebody away from their family instead of you going to handle your business for something that you did. You are in the streets. So if you get caught doing something, go take your time like a man. That's what a stand-up man does is go take his time like a man. I know because I did it. So if I didn't settle for lowering my standard of myself, if I went and did time away from my children and my woman because I believed in something, why would I change that now? I believe in that. That's something that I have full faith in, that I believe that that's what you do as a real man. And you know you were wrong. I knew what I was doing. So you can't say F the streets now because people that are close to you are being exposed, or people that you looked up to are being exposed, or people that you feel like should be role models in the hip hop community are being exposed. That don't work like that. You don't have it that way. Now, we can say F the streets because the streets are played out. It's people still running the streets, still doing whatever they doing. They don't even understand that the guy next to them is going to cooperate. So we can say F the streets and mean that in a certain way, but we're not going to say it as a scapegoat. We're not going to use that as a scapegoat to not hold certain people accountable for what they've done. We're not going to do that. Now, Gucci Mane and Gucci Mane's diss song slash statement. It's a statement. It's an obvious statement, y'all. You can't make a better statement if you sat down and had a full-fledged conversation with the detectives. You couldn't have made a better statement. It's a statement. Let's call it what it is. It's a statement. But he's done this in the past multiple times and on very big platforms, including the verses as we just spoke about. So I am not surprised at that. Now, let's talk about JR. Shout out to JR. JR is more so JR cool with my little brother. JR is more so their age and they do what they do and they tight with JR. JR real dude. So the people that don't know, they're watching this play out and they like, "Oh, who is JR?" We in Detroit we kind of know what's going on already. I'm not about to go into, things that don't need to be spoke on, but JR handled his business. So what y'all got to realize is everybody ain't going. Everybody ain't going, man. Everybody ain't going, dog. So you got guys like Junior. Um Jay Prince Jr. he's doing a bunch of stuff that he don't need to do. So what's happened is Jay Prince Jr. has got a whiff of his father's reputation, and Jay Prince has a reputation of being a a, a pretty solid street dude, right? And he's done some questionable things in the past few years. He don't really play the internet that well. He's done some things that could be considered dry snitching or something like that. He's done some things that's like, look, dog, you kind of not really in tune with what's going on with this internet and how the police watching it and you using it a certain way. But he has gotten better over the past year or two of staying the hell off the internet. Now, what Junior is doing is Junior is building a federal indictment against mob ties. And people need to understand that sometimes you just got to get away from people. You want to be involved with certain people because of the prestige or the attention that it gets you, but certain people don't care about you. They don't care about you. As a leader, I have never put my people in a position to where I'm asking them to do something that I wouldn't do myself, right? They thinking that you got guys like Junior, Jay Prince Jr., who think that, oh, these my do boys or these guys that, you thinking these guys are pawns, and that's bad leadership. As a real leader, you should think that you should be able to think for the whole. And you should be able to think that I don't want to put my team in a certain position because it all comes back to me and my leadership. At this point, you have connections, you have the money, you have everything you need to put your people in a position to not have to worry about their life being threatened, not have to worry about being on anybody's federal indictment, being in anybody's jail. You have the power, the means, the reputation, the name, everything that you need to take your team to the next level. But you want to run around playing street games and you're not necessarily a street dude. And it shows because when you watch the video, he damn near panicking in there. You're not a street dude. You got guys around you that may have street ties, and your father may have been a street guy, but you're not a street guy. And instead of you just accepting the fact that you need to handle business, you want to go out and do all of this stupid stuff to build this reputation, and it's costing lives. It's costing lives from people getting killed. It's costing lives from people getting injured and going to jail. And then you got guys that are blind. They have blind faith in you. They believe that, oh my God, this is Jay Prince Jr. Jr. is a sucker. Junior is not his father. Junior is a sucker, a full-fledged sucker. And the way that he handling his people, it shows that he a sucker. So when you see somebody like Allstar JR and you got some and y'all over there arguing about a broad, that's sucker shit. That's sucker shit. Y'all argue about a broad. All of this about a broad. You done sent your mans on a dummy mission about a broad. Like, come on, man. We not going out like that. So when I say we, I'm talking about real street dudes that are 35, 40, whatever. Man, we not going out like that. Not no real dudes. We already know things can get a certain type of violent. Things can get a certain type of hairy. So we ducking situations like that. We ducking situations like that. So we know the reputation of somebody like JR. Like we understand that, right? We understand that dog didn't been shot up. Dog was shot up and on live. Talking about face this big, everything. Dog not going. Everybody not going, bro. You got guys recording it and you trying to get some type of rep and you getting people hurt. You's an idiot. You's an idiot. This is not how we handle business. This is not how real men handle business. So I have no respect for JR. None. No respect for Junior. My bad. Allstar JR. We everything good. Shout out to Allstar JR. I'm talking about Jay Prince Jr. I have no zero respect for dude. I haven't had respect for dude in a very long time anyway. But the last few years have shown why somebody like him don't deserve respect. You doing a whole bunch of nothing trying to get a reputation that you don't need to get. You need to go handle business and find a Drake, find another artist, build another platform or something. You got somebody like Finesse two times, who is a very talented artist. He funny as hell online, but you can't take nothing away from his talent. And you are doing all this stupid stuff instead of building with somebody like him and finding other artists with talent and actually doing something productive for the hip hop community. You want to run around with these playing all this street stuff. And when the indictments come down, half the guys around you gonna tell. Hopefully, you not one of those guys because I'm not sure. You it's so stupid that I don't know what you would do. I have no type of respect for you. I have no type of expectations for you. You've shown nothing to make me believe you understand what's really going on in the streets. You playing games and you risking lives. You risking freedom. You risking death. Everything for nothing. Like you're talking about a girl. We don't do that. We don't do that. We not doing that about a woman. So let me address some of the comments. So, lawsuits and cease and desists don't make you a snitch. I'm filing another lawsuit today. Don't believe the hype. That's my point. Snitching ain't that. Snitching ain't that, man. I can go do something violent or I can file a lawsuit. Right? I'm a businessman. I run a business. My businesses pay for my kids growing up. My daughter is in Vegas now. Like we are spending money. I'm not never risking my freedom to go bust a head when I know I can go file a lawsuit. I can do whatever. I'm filing one today. So don't believe the hype. That's not snitching. That's my point. We gotta quit saying everything is snitching, y'all. Snitching is snitching. Like that's not snitching. Cease and desist and all of that is legal things you're supposed to do. That's what you do when you're doing legit business. You file lawsuits and you cease and desist and you do everything you're supposed to do. I wish somebody do something stupid to me. I could file another lawsuit. I am not playing. I'm not playing. Right? I'm telling you. So that I don't feel like that. Now, what Jay-Z did do is the CEO of Rock Nation cooperated against a bunch of drug dealers. A bunch of drug dealers. She now you over there playing with that lady, and she is a rat. So that is something that he did. I'm not taking up for Jay-Z. Um, Gangster astrology. Let that nah that I'm not in the streets. I don't care, but that's not snitching. That's what I'm saying, bro. It's not. That's not snitching. We gotta. It just is what it is, man. I ain't gonna argue about it. It just is what it is. That is a legal thing that you're supposed to do. If you are taking legal actions, that's one thing. That's your business. Snitching is snitching, bro. It's plain and simple what it is. It just plain and simple what snitching is. We don't gotta go back and forth. Snitching is we are in the streets, we do something illegal, and I go tell on you, or I get caught doing something illegal and go tell on you. I go do something and tell that's snitching. Any type of that, even the people like the PPO, that's not snitching. If my life is in danger and I gotta go get a PPO, I'm gonna go get a PPO. Like I don't care nothing about that. I'm listen, man. This person don't need to be around me. Now, if they violate that and I blow their head off, then now I got my defense set up. So that's we have to be smarter in how we maneuver, right? When somebody, let's say somebody owed you $30,000, you supposed to be a crash dummy and just go over there and put guns to them and rob them for $30,000. No, I'm gonna go sue you. Especially if I know I have the contract, I have everything lined up to say this is my case. I'm going to get my money. That's what you better do. When you grow up and you 35, 40 years old, you better go file your lawsuit and go get your money if it's legally yours. Other than that, you see what happened with OJ. Oh, they got my stuff in here. He didn't went in there and tried to get his stuff back. He got 10 years for that. Y'all got to be smarter. That's not snitching. If they had his stuff illegally and he went and filed a legal uh, a lawsuit or some other type of injunction, whatever, that's what you're supposed to do. If the same thing with Harry O and Suge Knight, Harry O felt like Suge Knight owed him $100 million, go file your lawsuit. You a dummy to think, oh, I'm gonna run up on him, pull this out on him, I'm gonna do this. You a fool. He had his paperwork in order. He got his $100 million. Y'all, I don't know you particularly, but I've been in the streets, dog. I'm not saying that my street reputation outweighs everybody else's, but I know what I know, man. When you get 35, 40 years old, you got a family. The only reason that you should handle business in the streets is if it's street business. Now, if somebody took your dope from you and you go file a lawsuit, that's snitching. Like you in there, well, they did this and you trying to cover it up and make it something else. That's some snitching shit. That's some snitching shit. But if somebody did something illegal to you and you feel like, I got contracts and paperwork on this person, they trying to leave my label, whatever the situation may be, then you have to do the business thing. It's time, bro. If your paperwork is in order, that's what you better do. So I'm not blaming nobody for filing cease and desist and anything else legal. That's what you're supposed to do. I'm a businessman. I'm gonna take care of business. Now, if it's some street stuff and you in that courtroom, then you need to go ahead and hang it up. Snitching is snitching. Um, Before I get out of here, I'm gonna talk about the African Bambaataa situation a little briefly. African Bambaataa is definitely a hip hop legend, but he is definitely a child molester and definitely a sexual predator. And I'm sorry, he was because he passed. He was definitely um, one of the first people to take advantage of people in hip hop, and it's been very well documented. We don't have to say allegedly. I don't know if every single case was true, but it is what it is. It is what it is. And when you talk about people and their legacies, it just is what it is. We have to give him credit for what he did for hip hop, but we don't have to not mention the fact that he violated so many people sexually, that people are 45, 50 years old and they're still feeling the ramifications of what he did to them when they were 12, 13, 14 years old. That is traumatizing. So his impact is unquestionable. But the fact that he did what he did, it should not be overlooked. And it is definitely an asterisk on his history. It's definitely an asterisk next to his name. And we don't have to settle for that. As the black community, we have gotten to the point where holding anybody accountable seems bad, right? R. Kelly is a genius, but he is sexually deviant. He is sexually deviant. He is dead wrong. And we can have both. Dog, keep your freaky ass over there. Stay in the studio and drop music. That's it. We don't need you around the kids, my nigga. I don't even want you performing. I don't know what you're going to do backstage. Right? We can say that. It's nothing wrong with holding people accountable. It's nothing wrong. Um, it's nothing wrong with that. So we have to hold people accountable. So that's my thing with African Bambaataa. I'm not gonna overly think this. I'm not gonna make this bigger than it has to be. I just wanted to address that small, real quick. So, uh, shout out to Gangster Astrology. Okay, you did 26 years. That's what's up. Um, okay, so I feel what you're saying. If you actively whatever, we can agree to disagree. I'm not giving anybody a pass, right? I'm not giving anybody a pass. I'm saying if it's a legal situation, go handle it legally, right? That's how I feel, bro. I mean, you can feel how you feel. I'm saying go handle it legally. I don't do nothing in the streets, and I'm filing lawsuits. If you bump into me and you a million, I might file a lawsuit then too. I don't care. I'm filing lawsuits. You put your hands on me at the club, I might sue you. I ain't swinging back. That's it. I'm I'm 40 years old, man, 41. I'm not going to jail for nobody's stupidity. You owe me 10,000, I'm suing you. The end. Like that's it. I'm suing you, give me my money. Cuz whatever it is now is legal business. I don't do nothing illegal. Whatever it is now, if you owe me now, I didn't do nothing on the side. I didn't give you no money and try to get two for one. I ain't doing no back office deals. Everything I do now come with contracts. If you violate the contract, I am suing you. The end. That's it. I'm suing you. And that's what anybody that's doing anything legal is supposed to do. That's the reason you have a contract. So what I'm talking about is doing something legally. You keep mentioning the streets. I'm not saying that. If even if they in the streets playing, Even if they in the streets playing, if they have a legal deal over here, let's say you in the streets hustling and you go do a real estate deal with somebody, right? You got $40,000 of street money. You go do a real estate deal with somebody. They run off with your money. You're not wrong for suing them. That's not what snitching is. Y'all overusing the word. Now, if you got $40,000 out the street and somebody running your house and you go to court on them, then you a rat, right? If they run in your house, stole your money, got away with your money, and you over there, oh man, I did such and such, woo, 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 right? You a rat. But for somebody to have a legal business doing legal things, I don't care what you do on the side. If I have a contract with you and you violate the contract, I'm suing you. Now, if you come to court and say, that's a street dude, where you get the money from, then you a rat. We dealing with the business at hand. You doing bold business, I'm suing you. The end. That's you can keep picking straws with it all you want to. I know exactly what ratting is, and it ain't ratting to sue. Go get your money. The end. So I'm gonna get out of here. This is my woman, y'all. She fine. My woman, look at her. Y'all see my woman? She said her coworker at the door. I gotta get out of here. Y'all gotta take care of some business. Y'all enjoy the rest of y'all day, and don't try to follow my woman. She fine too. We out this thing, y'all.